agency, despite a new law requiring high-level approval for inspections. The law, passed last month, demands permission from Iran's Supreme National Security Council for any future IAEA access to nuclear sites. This comes after IAEA inspectors were denied entry following Israeli and US airstrikes during a 12-day war in June. The law was passed after Tehran accused the IAEA of enabling those attacks, with a report that led the agency to declare Iran in breach of the non-proliferation commitments. Despite tensions, Foreign Minister Abbas Araqchi confirmed Iran would continue talks with the UN nuclear watchdog, signaling further negotiations in the coming days. However, talks with the US remain on hold. We will be joined by Mati Zaweg once again in just a second. Obviously, this being big news in the West Asian region, where Iran says that it will continue to negotiate with the highly contentious IAEA, the watchdog that said that Iran was in breach and that it was enriching uranium at an alarming rate. Mati, thank you very much for joining us once again here on the program. Apologies there. What are your thoughts that Iran will now continue to work with the United Nations supervised watchdog, the IAEA, in possible further inspections of its nuclear facilities?
Well, they cannot completely disconnect themselves. They can froze their contacts with them, but from all kind of reasons, they cannot really disconnect. I don't think also the IAEA don't want to disconnect from them, because then they will lose the prospects of the future inspections. And the same for Iran, not to lose completely their credibility in any kind of future prospections of having some kind of agreement. So you have to understand what really happened in the war between Israel and Iran is that 5 of the most important places to develop nuclear capabilities have been really harmed in some degree or another. They don't want to recognize this, but this is doing a lot of problems in their capacity of recovering. And this is also in part of the package that they are really getting tough with them, that they must comply with a lot of requirements if they want to have their assets not frozen by the US or other countries in the world. So this has to be in some kind of secret negotiations, because now they are very so-called offended.
Yes.
So they cannot show in public what really was the extent of the harmed places, and how are they going to do to recover these places with the world connected to a serious plan for them and also for the inspections in the future.
Yes, Mati, thank you for that insight. Do stay with us. We have some more updates from the region. Iran and Belarus have vowed to strengthen bilateral ties following a state visit by Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian to Belarus. The meeting with the Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko is part of a broader strategy to deepen cooperation, particularly in defense and trade. This follows Pezeshkian's meetings in Armenia and marks a key step in Iran's integration with the Eurasian Economic Union. Both leaders emphasized their shared stance against Western sanctions and unilateral actions. Belarus reaffirmed its commitment to honoring all agreements with Iran. Listen in to what the president of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, had to say.
В силу непредвиденных обстоятельств он был немного перенесен, этот визит, но тем не менее он не стал менее значимым, чем тогда. Вы были, остаетесь нашими друзьями.
We're once again joined by Mati Zaweg. Mati, your thoughts on this relationship between Iran and Belarus, two countries cut off with Western sanctions from the Europeans, from Israel, from Western nations. Your thoughts on the possibility of them moving forward economically and the wider group of countries that face Western sanctions?
Well, all what happened in the last years, especially since the starting of the Russia-Ukrainian war, has brought developments for all the countries in the area, which are pro-Russia or pro-Western countries. So Belarus had been, also from 2020, has been closing and closing itself for all the sanctions that have been imposed because of their elections, and after that, because of their connections with Putin and the war, even that they don't participate from this war, but they have permit a lot of cooperation also with the neighbors that they are the Russians. Then the friends of the Russians are also Iran, and Iran is also trying to be very friendly to Belarus and also to sell them their technologies, as well as they have done with Russia. And a lot of students are going also from Iran to Belarus, and they are deepening and strengthening their relations. It's a little strange that they say that they want to increase the stability in the region when Belarus itself, it's a very stable and tranquil country, very peaceful, but Iran is not.
But of course, you know, words are very easy to say when you are on stage, and the developments of every country have different paths. But being a very good friend of Russia, also Belarus tried to deepen their contacts with Iran, as well as with other countries in Africa, in Asia, like Pakistan and Zimbabwe, and a lot of countries not aligned, that they feel they have the same kind of faith in the future, like Belarus, and they are deepening also the strategic ties between them in terms of defense, agriculture, and other things.
Yes, and can you talk a little bit about President Pezeshkian's kind of diplomacy, his style, his leadership of the Iranian people, and how they lead themselves on the foreign stage?
He has presented himself from the beginning as a kind of moderate. But you have to understand, to be a moderate in Iran,
he's like an extremist in most of the countries in the world. He's just not so extremist as the others, or his image is not. I mean, it doesn't avoid from him to put thousands and thousands of people in the jail after the Iran-Israel war, because they are suspicious that even the cats in the streets, they are spying for Israel. And to also to murder people in the prisons or in the squares to show the people that we are taking care of people that have betrayed us, they say. So this is only a question of image. And in international arena, he's trying to strengthen where he can strengthen the relationships, as Russia or Belarus, they do from their way. They cannot do it with a lot of countries. Most of the countries are not getting well with them. So he tried to go to places that receive them, like Belarus, Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, and all this club of countries that they have a particular type of presidents and styles of government.
Mati Zaweg, thank you very much. Pleasure having you.